A famous Hollywood actress was found dead in her home. The police were called to the scene, but they couldn't find any signs of forced entry or any clues as to how she died. As the investigation continued, things started to get weird. The lead detective on the case had a strange feeling that something wasn't right. He couldn't shake this feeling, no matter what. So he decided to pay another visit to the crime scene, even though he'd already been there twice. When he arrived, he noticed something strange. The windows and doors were all locked from the inside. This didn't make sense, since the actress lived alone, and the only other person who had a key was her personal assistant, who was out of town for the weekend. As he looked around, he noticed a set of fingerprints on the window. They weren't the actress's fingerprints, so someone had been inside the house and had managed to lock themselves in. But who? And why? He went back to the station to run the prints, but they came back as unknown. No matches could be found. As the days went by, more and more evidence started to surface that pointed to foul play. For example, the actress's phone had been smashed and her laptop was missing, but still, there were no leads. The detective was starting to think that he might never solve this case when suddenly, out of the blue, he got a call. The person on the other end of the line told him that they had information about the case and that they wanted to meet with him. The detective was skeptical, but he agreed to meet this person, who turned out to be an old friend of the actress. She told him that the actress had been acting strange lately, like she was paranoid and scared. She also told him that the actress had recently received a threatening message from an unknown person. The detective thanked her for the information and hung up. He immediately went back to the station to dig through the actress's phone records, but it was too late. The phone had been completely wiped. He was about to give up when suddenly he remembered the fingerprints. He ran them again, this time using a different database. And finally, there was a match. The prints belonged to the actress's personal assistant. The detective called the assistant in for questioning, but he was shocked when he saw him. The assistant was crying and told him that he didn't do it. But the detective wasn't buying it. He arrested the assistant and took him down to the station. Once they were alone, the detective started to interrogate the assistant. He told him that he knew he was guilty and that he wanted to know what happened. The assistant broke down and confessed everything. He told the detective that he had been stealing from the actress for months, but she had recently found out and fired him. He had planned to steal from her one last time, but she had caught him. They had struggled, and he had accidentally killed her. He then locked himself in her house to hide the evidence, but he was so scared that he didn't lock the windows. The detective was furious. He had suspected the assistant from the beginning, but he couldn't believe that he had actually killed the actress. He immediately took him into custody and charged him with murder. As the trial began, more details of the case came to light. It was revealed that the assistant had not acted alone. He had actually enlisted the help of a friend to kill the actress. This friend was a private investigator who had been hired by the assistant to break into the actress's house and steal her laptop. The two had planned to sell the laptop and its contents to the media, but the actress had caught them in the act and fought back. The private investigator testified against his friend, and the two were both convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison. As for the detective, he was hailed as a hero for solving the case, but he knew that he had only done his job. Still, he couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction as he watched the criminals being led away.